6th. My name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla, and here is your legislative update for the day. First, want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Yule, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever spiritual tradition you come from. I hope you've been able to, or will continue to be able to celebrate it in a really wonderful, loving, and peaceful way. So I want to talk about today, moving into the legislative session that we're starting in about 3 weeks, what the federal government and the changes that a Trump administration with Republicans in control of both houses of Congress might mean for my direct job as a legislator, but also for you as citizens of the state. The first thing is removing ObamaCare. That has been one of their first priorities, and if they do so, it's going to mean some things. The two things off the top of my head are, if they remove the subsidies that have been given to people to get private insurance and take away the Medicaid expansion that happened, both these things have really increased exponentially the amount of people in the state that have been able to get health insurance and therefore get health care the right way, by seeing a regular doctor and regular visits instead of going to the emergency room, which is the way it used to be before. And that, I'll tell you, as an ex-county commissioner that had to deal with that kind of policy, it's very expensive and not very good for the health of our citizens. So if that's removed, what happens then? Secondly, one of the provisions in Obamacare that was done through the president was a guarantee that women can get contraception in a really safe and easy manner. And if those regulations are taken away, it's going to be up to us as a state to make sure that those provisions are in place, because the ability to get quality contraception is one of the, if not the top issue that women have in both providing safe and healthy environments for their children and also giving themselves financial security and really lowering the pay gap that exists in our country between women and men. The second thing I'd like to talk about is, how will immigration be enforced? Will a Trump administration really bear down very, very strongly in immigration? If that happens, will they ask or require state institutions like the state police or universities to turn over records to the federal government for folks that might be here in an undocumented manner? The second thing is, how is that going to affect our economy, right? So there are many folks, we're a border state, that live here in an undocumented way and contribute to our economy. And so if these things happen, how do we go about creating jobs? How do we go about fighting? Because I personally don't agree with that tactic. I think if you come here and you're willing to work hard and follow the rules and pay your taxes, we should treat you like a person, a human being, and not call you names and really try to be compassionate for where you come from. And the thing that frustrates me the most about this entire conversation is we never talk about putting employers of undocumented folks in jail or calling employers of undocumented folks illegals. There's a job market here. And if you want to come and work here, if you can get through the border, you're going to find a job. And it really illustrates the fact that so much of this isn't about immigration, it's about politics and using people's fear of something they might not understand to gain political points. And I really oppose that. Secondly, regarding Mexico, what happens if we go into a trade war with Mexico and that hurts our ability to grow economically? So that's a big deal down at the border here in Doña Ana County. We have a port of entry with Santa Teresa, but also that expands to other places around the state. So for instance, here in Las Cruces, 40, 50 miles away from the border, there's a cheese plant called F&A Dairy, which does a lot of business with a meat processing plant in Ciudad Chihuahua in Mexico. If we go into a trade war, does that hurt our ability to grow our economic base? Last thing is infrastructure. So there have been some Democrats and Republicans that say that there could be a compromise on a big infrastructure plan for the country. We need it nationwide, but the way this usually works is the federal government gives money for quote-unquote shovel-ready things. So we have to have plans done and engineering services done so that we can put the money to use right away, building roads, building bridges, broadband, whatever we're going to have to do. That leads me to the last thing I'd like to talk about today, which is how we approach a new President Trump. I know I'm on the other side of the aisle from him and disagree with him on so many things, but I really think he's going to do something controversial almost every day, because he has to see his name in the news. I mean, he's got a very small ego, and he obviously has to see his name on TV or in the newspaper to get self-worth. I think it's important for us that are opposed to many of his plans to not make everything about him, not put his name up there every single time you oppose something he does. I think it's really important to focus on the things we want to do to help people. Why are people and ideas from our side of the aisle going to help people more in a deeper and meaningful way than what he's doing. I think that's the way you kind of win. I also think it's important where we can to try to find ways of working, for me, with Republicans when necessary. I think a lot of times people see a Washington, D.C. that's broken, that's not working, and regardless of how much they might not like Trump, they still voted for him because they were looking at change in any manner. And I think it's important for us to show that government can work. And that's how, in my opinion, we fight Trump most effectively. So thanks everybody for watching this. Once again, I hope you've had a great or continue to have a great holiday. And as always, I would love to answer any questions, comments, or concerns you have on these or any other issues. Thanks a lot. Hope you're having a great day. Bye.